Myles Lewis-Skelly's story is one of the stories of the Premier League season. What he is doing at this level, at 18 years old, remember that, 18, in the Premier League for one of the biggest clubs in the world, on the biggest stage, going back and forth with one of the Premier League's great goal scorers. It's a fantastic story. And yet his name will have been in the media for the last 2 weeks, has been in the media for the last 2 weeks, for a cynical yellow card that was wrongly punished with a red, and for celebrating in a way that showed he has a backbone, in a way that showed he is happy to give it back to someone who's incredibly disrespectful to him only 4 or 5 months ago. And the media are missing this. And some of the journalism has been shambolic. Fan channels, fan content, fans in general seem to get it. But a lot of the I've played the game people seem to miss it, and they're the ones who should be getting it the most, no? Let's go through some of the stuff that's been said about an 18-year-old and just highlight how ridiculous some of the reporting has been around Myles Lewis-Skelly the last few weeks. Now, the least egregious of all the things I've seen has been Jamie Carragher's analysis of a celebration on Monday Night Football. My question is this necessary? I'll give him the benefit of the doubt that he was pointing out Declan Rice's leadership skills. All right, we can maybe say that. And alongside Thierry Henry on Sky Sports, he declared Myles Lewis-Skelly a superstar in the making and had a lot of good things to say about him. But did we really need a Monday Night Football, one of the best analysis shows in the world, in my opinion, on football? Did we really need a conversation around his celebration? For me, it's totally unnecessary. But here we are. Then we move on to... And by the way, Jamie Carragher did say he didn't like the celebration. I don't know what there is not to like about it. It's extraordinary, but okay. Let's move on to Jason Cundy, the same person who said that Mikel Arteta got Ethan Nwaneri on the pitch against Brentford when he was 15 years old as a selfish, PR move or whatever it was he was basically accusing Arteta of. Well, 2 years on, that guy has signed a new contract at Arsenal, is now thriving, and looks one of the best young talents in world football at 17, scoring wonder goals against Manchester City on the big stage in a 5-1 win. So you look stupid for that one, Jason. But what he said here about Myles Lewis-Skelly is ridiculous. He says, I'm not convinced it's the wisest thing to do when talking about the celebration. He said, in years to come, you wait. We saw what Roy Keane did to Haaland's dad. Just be careful. I mean, this is extraordinary. For any of you who don't know, Roy Keane went studs up into Alfie Haaland's knee. Studs up. You can see the picture here. Into Alfie Haaland's knee. It's Alfie, right? I think that's his name. So I think, and I really hope not, but I think what Jason Cundy is saying is don't go antagonising anyone. Don't go responding to people who are critical of you, who are insulting to you, because you might get a stud to the knee one day in one of the worst challenges I've ever seen. Great message. That's a great message to get out there. Let's ignore all the context. Let's ignore that Erling Haaland threw a ball to the back of Gabriel's head in celebration when they equalised. Let's ignore that he gave Mikel Arteta a big old pat on the back, telling him to stay humble. And let's forget that when Lewis-Skelly tried to defend his teammates, Erling Haaland said, who the fuck are you to him? An 18-year-old, yet to make his debut in the Premier. In fact, made it that day, to be fair. And that's what he had to say to him, a fellow professional. So what? Myles Lewis-Skelly can't retaliate, can't respond, can't remember that, use it to fuel a fantastic performance, win a couple, one-on-one duels with Erling himself, go on, score the third goal that all but won the game for Arsenal, and then celebrate and enjoy his moment. He can't give it back to him. If we can't, the game is gone. What a boring, miserable game we're going to have if all of that is out of it. And by the way, Erling Haaland seems to have taken that on the chin. He's not one to hide from a tweet or something he says in a press conference or an interview. He's not one to hide how he feels. You know what? He pointed to the golden crest and he had his moment too. Good on him. That's what the game's about. Arsenal and Man City giving it back and forth. And you know that there's an underlying mutual respect. For anyone who says, City don't respect Arsenal, nonsense. Absolute nonsense. But let's not go into that. That's what the game's about. Lewis-Skelly's giving us that, and people want to rip it from him, and then want to do think pieces and constant ridiculous journalism around someone who's purely defending himself and having his fun. The story is an 18-year-old scoring against Man City and giving it back to one of the Premier League's greatest ever goal scorers, and that's been completely missed. Completely missed. Because we have to question other things instead. Talksport have put out 6 videos about it. Now, in fairness, they're balanced in the sense that the likes of Rory Jennings, Troy Deeney, Darren Bent, Robbie himself have all come out and defended Lewis-Skelly. So there's a balance in the reporting, I'll give you that. But 6, 7 videos, I mean, is this necessary? Do we need all this conversation around a celebration? Luckily, there's people with sense, former pros and, fun enough, a fan content creator, who've actually come out and defended this. But how about this? Simon Jordan, who I'm not his biggest fan, far from it. He's had some things to say about AFTV that I don't like. But he's actually come out and defended Lewis-Skelly and that celebration, but you wouldn't think it because the title has the terms cocky sod before, alluding to the Lewis-Skelly celebration. The words cocky sod were used to describe Erling Haaland. But Myles Lewis-Skelly and his family might see that. They might see that and think, here's someone else having a pop at me for doing nothing wrong. This is irresponsible. You've had Alan McInally, he's come out and said things alongside Sam Allardyce. And what's all this narrative that Arsenal can't enjoy a win because we haven't won the Premier League title yet? Everton, if you ever beat Liverpool, don't enjoy it. Don't enjoy it because you're in a relegation battle and Liverpool have done a lot more, so don't enjoy it. That's the message we're sending. Absolutely extraordinary what people want the game to be and the nonsense they'll say to justify people not even being able to celebrate a 5-1 win over the champions. City have battered us for years and years and years and years, and we're not allowed to enjoy our moment. You thought that was bad enough? How about this? This was post the red card against Wolves for Lewis-Skelly. Andy Dunn said, let's get one thing straight here. Lewis-Skelly was no victim. It was Lewis-Skelly who committed a premeditated act of foul play. It was Lewis-Skelly whose only intention was to make Matt Doherty unable to carry on taking part in attacking phase of play. It was Lewis-Skelly who scraped his studs down the Wolves player's leg. It was Lewis-Skelly who performed a cynical act of law breaking as you will see on a football field. Yet somehow it's Oliver the villain. What on earth is this writing? What on earth am I reading here? So you're implying that if it's not Oliver the villain, that should be Lewis-Skelly? He's had to amend this article because of the backlash from Arsenal fans, and the Mirror have had to delete the tweet that promoted the article. How aggressive is this language? It was Lewis-Skelly once, it was Lewis-Skelly twice, it was Lewis-Skelly 3 times, it was Lewis-Skelly 4 times. Performed a cynical and act of law breaking. As you'll see, what kind of language is this? Is ridiculous. For a tactical foul on the edge of the box Arsenal attacking. Nonsense writing. Absolute nonsense writing from Andy Dunn. And then you've got just simple disrespect in the amount of times I've seen his name spelt wrong. I mean, come on. This is not difficult. I did sports media training. You're taught to learn how to pronounce names and you're taught to learn how to, spell them correctly. This is basic respect. It's a media requirement. Shocking. Amongst all this, you've got Neville criticising Gabriel for celebrating in Haaland's face. He literally threw a ball to the back of his head 4 months prior. It's just extraordinary that these points are being missed and that all these eyes are on what Arsenal have done, but more importantly, what Lewis-Skelly's done, an 18-year-old. So well done to the fan channels. Well done to the fan channels who have spoken far, far, far better than the mainstream. I'll tell you what the media should be doing. What Tom Canton did. Brilliant. It's an article about Myles Lewis-Skelly's amazing mother and the fantastic things she's doing to support her son and support families in football. It is brilliant. Link in the description below. Tom Canton, who of course has the Gooner Talk. Go and subscribe to that channel. I'm sure you are already. Brilliant channel. And he's doing brilliant journalism. And these are the stories around Myles Lewis-Skelly and his family that we should be telling. The story of his breakthrough into the Arsenal first team and the story of his amazing mum and the amazing work she's doing. Not this nonsense that we've seen in mainstream media. So Myles, don't change. Please don't. Because the things you've been doing now that have got you to being a star, a future star in this Arsenal team. One of the best performers in an Arsenal shirt over the last month. And someone who's grabbed his opportunity. It is an inspirational story. what he's doing at 18 years old is one of the great stories of the Premier League. And it's looking like he's going to get an England call-up too. This is brilliant. These are the things we should be talking about and the things that we should be lauding and praising, that we should be seeing slapped all over the mainstream media, but we're not. And it's embarrassing that we're not. The game needs what Myles Lewis-Skelly brought on Sunday to Erling Haaland and to Man City. Be yourself, Myles. Mainstream, do better.